All right, gentlemen, welcome to this new video. So, if you're a coach or a consultant, you've got clients, you've got results, and you're posting consistently, but your pipeline is thin and your followers are growing. Well, that doesn't make sense if you're a business owner because your DMs are quiet and you can't figure out why. So, here. So, it's not your content quality, okay? It's not your frequency, it's not your platform. It's that your positioning isn't specific enough for someone to choose you over anyone else. There's a, there's a three-step system that we have that can totally fix it. Okay, the same one that the same one the coaches with full DMs well before the lead generation machine ever started. Okay, I want to show you exactly what the system is because until you have it, no lead generation strategy in the world converts at scale. Here, lie. Here's the lie. Here's the lie. Most coaches have been told. They've been told that to pick a niche, post consistently, improve your hooks, do that long enough, and the conversions will flow. Well, that's not the case. Okay, and after people hear this advice, they really buy into it and they niche down and pick a specific audience. They get consistent, they improve their host, but they still can't convert at scale. And it's because nobody told them that picking a niche is not the same as building a positioning that converts. And a niche is a room you're standing in, but positioning is what makes you the only person worth listening to inside the room. Okay? And you cannot build positioning by picking a tighter topic. You build it by you build it you build it by getting specific enough about who you are, what they are struggling with, what exact problem that you solve, and why your specific experience makes you the right person. Specific enough that when your ideal client reads it, they feel like you wrote it directly for them. And that's what this video is about. You're getting everything, bro. Getting everything. So the reason most coaches are stuck at what I call positioning proximity, and that phrase is important, is that their positioning is broad enough to attract everyone and specific enough to convert no one. And I want you to think about it. What happens when a cold prospects land on your page? Think about a coach. They're a coach at 20K per month. They've got an audience. They can't convert from content. They've been looking for inbound conversion systems. And well, they're looking for someone who solves the exact problem. They land on your page and your content is good. It's relevant. But because your positioning says, I help coaches grow their brand and get more clients. That's every coach, mate. That's not them specifically. And their brain says, interesting, but probably not exactly what I need. And they scroll on. There's no enough urgency, or there's no enough urgency for them to click on the page and process the other assets that you have in your funnel. Well, that coach doesn't. Well, that coach doesn't have any asset to. And the positioning proximity means that you're close enough to what your avatar needs to hear, but not specific enough to make someone think this is the only thing, this is the only person who can help me. And the gap between close enough and the only option, that's where the conversation and the conversion lives. Because people buy from people. People don't buy coaches. No, people don't buy coaching. People buy coaches. And the real voice system closes that gap. 3 steps, and here is how it works. So step one, the alignment audit. 5 questions. Before you write a single word of content, and before you define a pillar, and before you build anything, you answer these 5 questions. Honestly, we do not want any aspiration, and not the way you think you should answer them. I want that you answer them honestly. Question number one. Hmm, what do you actually know better than anyone in your space? What do you actually know better than anyone in your space? So the weak answer for this will be marketing. But the strong answer will be why organic content stops converting at 20K per month and what rebuilds it. Just think about it. Ah, shit, this fucking slide, man. And it's not what you're supposed to know, okay? Not what you taste, not what you generally understand, but a level that will embarrass the average coach in your niche, your competition, if you got into a detailed conversation about it, okay? So if everyone in your space could read your answer and nod along, go deeper. Question number two is, what have you built or done that most people in your space haven't? Your actual results, your client results, the specific things that you have tested and failed at and fixed and repeated. Well, this isn't a credentials credentials question. It's a track record that I'm asking. I'm not asking where you got certified. I'm asking what you have run in the real world. What broke you? What you have learned and what you have fixed. And what you can now see that someone who hasn't done it can't. Question number three, and this is the most important one. What do you believe that most coaches in your space would disagree with? Okay, if you don't have a strong opinion that contradicts the consensus in your niche, you don't have a voice. You have an echo. The question is the one most coaches. The question is the one that most coaches skip or answer pretty much weakly, because having a clear contrarian belief requires you to stand for something specific. Okay, it requires you to say the conventional wisdom here is wrong, and here's why. That's uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And so it is also the thing that makes people share your content and buy your offer. Well, question number four, who specifically are you for? And who are you not for? And most coaches are terrified to exclude people from their positioning. They want the widest possible audience. They think that if I target everyone, I will get more and more clients. Well, that's not the case. That's not the case, okay? That is why their content speaks to no one specifically. They find the exact person, revenue level, platform, specific problem, specific stage, then define who you're not for. The exclusion is the positioning. The moment you say this is not for coaches under 50K, 15K per month, everyone at 20K per month sits up. And question number five. Question number five. What does success look like for your client in 90 days? I'm not talking about the dream outcome or the transform your life bullshit. The specific, measurable, realistic outcome that can expect they can expect if they execute. Can you put a number on it, a time frame, a before and after that someone could point to and say, yes, that happened, right? And this becomes your positioning statement and eventually your guarantee. And those five answers are the raw material for everything in phase one. You can't skip this step, okay? You can do it quickly and badly, and that's the trap. But if you're honest, the answer here tells you everything your content should be and shouldn't be. I hope you understand me. Okay, step two, finding your 11. Well, you've done the alignment audit, right? I hope so. Now we built your positioning statement, what I call the 11, and the name matters. So let me explain it. Most coaches have a 2 out of 10 positioning statement. It sounds like this. I help coaches grow their personal brand and get more clients. Oh no, what the fuck is that, bro? People have been doing that for years, and sophistication level of your audience has increased. Nobody wants that because that's too generic, general, and not specific enough. And here's the reason why. The broad shit doesn't work because people, and it depends, right, on your expertise. If you have if you have a greater experience, you can capitalize on the greater market. But you have, but if you do not have great experience, and that can be the reason you're stuck in 15 to 25K per month, you do not have that level of expertise. So we have to condense it as much as possible to attract the people who we know the most, who we can solve the problem the best for, and who will be the best clients. And that's the two. And the previous one was a two. Anyone could say that. It's too broad. It describes a category, not a specific person with a specific problem at a specific stage. So when your cold prospect reads it, just think about it. There is no moment of recognition, no feeling of that's me. Just a vague nod and a scroll. They will freaking score. Okay. And 11 sounds like this. I help coaches doing 15 to 25K per month who are posting consistently but can convert at scale, build the trust compounding system that turns their existing audience into five-figure leads. Well, that's a person, that's a revenue level, that's a specific problem, not screw, and that's a specific outcome. It's a name mechanism. So when your ideal client reads it, and it is the reason that you are watching, because I'm not trying to go viral, but I'm just trying to talk to you right there, front of the. And when your ideal client reads that, they don't just nod. They feel slightly called out. You know what I'm saying? That feeling, that recognition is what makes them click and read on and eventually DM you for help. Well, the formula for an 11 is who you help plus the specific problem that you solve plus the specific outcome plus why only you. These are the four components. Everyone has to be specific enough that someone outside your exact avatar would read it and know it's not for them. Okay? And here's the test. I want to test you, bro. You can run this right now. You can read your current positioning statement to your last three clients and have all three immediately recognize themselves. If two of them shrug, like the online shrug, it's not specific enough. Cool, right? Could anyone else in your space say this exact sentence truthfully? If yes, go more specific. Once your 11 is defined, you build your content pillars off of it. 3 to 5 topics back that all point back to the same position. Everything you post draws from those pillars, and nothing outside them, nothing generic, nothing that a different coach with a different 11 could have posted. And that's what keeps the algorithm trained on the right person and keep the right person converting and converting and converting. Step three, the credibility bank. The credibility bank is an asset your content draws from permanently. And I mean it permanently. Once it exists, every piece of content you create for the next 3 years or so comes from this bank. You never create from trends. You never create from what's working right now. You open the bank, you pick something from it, and build the piece around that specific thing. Because you are not big enough to capitalize on trends, but you are small enough to make more and more money, to increase your expertise and your experience level, that you can go to that level. Understand? Okay. Eight. Okay. And here is what's going in it. And here's what goes in it. Block one, your results, every client outcome, every revenue milestone, every measurable result that you produce, numbers where possible, before and after format. The more specific, the more sellable. The format is simple, okay? Situation, problem, what you did together, result in a specific time frame. Okay? And it can look like my client was at 18K per month and 18K per month, couldn't convert from content, ran phase one of the system in week one, and had 4 qualified leads in her DM by week six. Well, that's what sells, brother. And block two, the lessons, the specific things that you have learned from testing, failing, and fixing. And these are not generic lessons, named lessons. The thing that I learned, okay, these are your most shareable content pieces. Nobody can replicate a lesson that came from your specific experience. And it's literally impossible to copy because it didn't happen to anyone else. We are not generalizing. Block three, your lessons, the specific things that you have learned from testing, failing, and fixing. Now, block three, your beliefs, the things you believe about the field that most people in your space don't say out loud. This is the point of view content, okay? The posts that get shared and saved because they say something real. And notice how this connects back to the alignment audit question three, if you remember. So your contrarian beliefs don't just define your voice. They become your content that attracts the right people and repels the wrong ones simultaneously. Because we want to work with the right people. Okay? The right clients are gonna make your life. I didn't make the block four slide. Okay, but I can explain it to you. Okay? Block four is your track record. What you have built, what you have what you've been part of. It's not credentials, but lived experience. And this answers the question every cold prospect has. Why would anyone take advice from this person specifically and specifically about this problem? Okay. And when the credibility bank is full, you never sit in front of a blank page again. You open the blank and pick a result, pick a lesson, pick a belief, and build from there. The content that comes out of it is impossible to replicate because it came from your specific life and your specific work. And that is what sells. Now, let me remind you again, okay? People only buy from people. People don't buy coaching, they buy coaches, bro. And that's the entire point of phase one. It's not better hooks, not a more polished aesthetic piece of profile, a systematic extraction of what's actually and specifically yours, turned into a voice that nobody else can copy. And here's the honest part. The alignment audit questions are easy to answer badly. How about 20 coaches go through them in literally 20 minutes and produce surface answers to every single one of them? But the real answer to those questions requires someone to push back, to sit with you in the room and say that's not specific enough. Go deeper. You need accountability. You need some expertise to hear your version of question three, and say that's not contrarian, that's mainstream repackaged. What do you actually think? Well, that is the gap between watching this video and having phase one built. The system is here. The system is here. The extraction process, finding what's actually yours, what's specific enough, and what's real. 11. That's the work we do inside the program, of course. And over the first 3 weeks, with direct input, and if you're a coach or consultant at 15 to 25K per month, and you want phase one built for your specific business, including phase two and three, you can watch in the other videos of the series. DM me the word voice on Instagram, and I'll show you exactly what this looks like when it's applied to what you already have built. Well, next video will be about the real proof system, how to turn one client result, one valuable client case study, client testimonials into a sales machine that runs whether you're on camera or not. Well, I'll see you later. Okay? Speed is what wins. Thank you for watching.